Welcome back to Stationeers. I'm Rob and we're today back in our testing facility here in Mars. Today we are looking at something very simple, but also something that you always want to do. First of all, that is not spelled correctly. Anyway, what we're going to look at is how you can read all these things from the pressure sensor, the gas sensor, it's called, not a pressure sensor. So just to clear it out, this one can be 3 different sensors: daylight, motion and gas. We're currently using the gas sensor. So we today want to set up so we can see all these 4. There's 2 ways we can do this. By using all this junk, well, some of this junk over here, or using this over here. So let's do this one first. So on a LED display, we have a mode. So you see the mode there on all of them are set to 0. This mode indicates what type of value will show. So if it says 0, it will just shows a numeric number, like 0 for example. If it shows 1, if you have set it to 1, it will show a percentage. So it will show a number followed by the percentage sign. If you set to 2, it's for power. So we will only use 0 and 1 today, not power, because this one doesn't read power. If we have nothing here that reads power, then we have to hook it up to the battery, for example. First thing first, I want to close this so it looks a bit nicer. You can see already before I do that, you can see I've already connected all 4 of them together, plus the gas sensor, and then out here. And then we have a power and a reader, so we can actually see how much we're using. Currently we're using 200 watt. Each of them uses 50 watt. So you see here, 50 watt each of them. So they're quite they're not heavy in consumption, but reasonable consumption heavy anyway. So now that all looks nice and very hidden, let's set up first a mode. So we want a mode on these 2 because we want to read from this one, and this can only read in ratios. So you see here, we have the pressure we want to read, we have the temperature we want to read, we have the ratios, and ratio is a percentage. Right now, of course, I have oxygen, carbon dioxide, nitrogen a little bit, pollute a little bit, but I am clearing out over there, but it takes a very long time. So the carbon and the oxygen will be in percentage, those 2 will just be numbers. Those 2 you normally don't need because you have it down here as well. So you have the pressure here and the temperature here, but I'm going to take all 4 just for the fun of it. So let's do the 2, which is actually the important ones. So before we get on to setting up the readers and the writers, we're going to take a single writer and a logic, a memory, and set the memory on these 2 to 1. That's a one-time thing you need to do, but then it's done. So first, let's pop down a logic writer here. We can just pop him in upside down. So writer. And we want to put a memory here, like so. A bit of cable. Right. So next thing, the input is the memory, because there's only one thing here. Output will then be the LED carbon. So LED carbon, and we want to do the mode. We want to set this one to 1, and by setting it to 1, you click on the small wheel here. It goes to 1. You turn it on, and then already you see here the carbon is set with a percentage. Nice. Next thing, you take it, turn it off again, set it to oxygen. Change the mode because it goes back to 0 or none. Set the mode, turn it on, and now you have percentage as well. Lovely. That's done. Now you can remove that again. So now that you set up the percentages on your 2 readers, on your 2 displays, we want to put a reader and a writer. Let's do the oxygen first. So we pop a reader here. Then right next to it, we're going to put a writer. The reason why I'm going to do it this way is because we can save a cable, because this one is the output, this is the input, so it will go directly through. The reason why I do it this way is because then I can save a little bit of cable, not a lot. It's a good practice. Let's say it that way. And then down here. Like so. A turn. Right, let's stop that down there. Let's take out our screwdriver. Oops, I messed up. I forgot some cables for this one. Of course, if you don't know, when you have the two yellow crosses, that means you have connection both ends. Just so you know. So, on the logic reader, we want to read the gas sensor. We want to read the ratio oxygen. Turn him on, and now you see he's getting something. He's getting 76%. Seems about great. On the in, we're just going to pick one. You cannot change anything else because you only have one input here. So, on the output, you're going to do LED oxygen and setting. And he's off to the races. So we take out a tablet just to compare. You see 76.8, 78. So this one will round up or round down depending on where you are, what it is. So if it's above 70, if it's above 76.5, it will go up, and if below, it will go down. But we don't care about the decimal point anyway. It's a little bit noisy, as you can hear. That might be a little bit annoying. You also see now we are using a bit more power. Each of these use 10 watt. So that's something. They also take a lot of space. Next thing we want to do is the same thing. So up here, we're going to do a logic reader and a logic writer. Yes, I know they're upside down. You'll have to deal with that. So this setup here, that's the more or less the most efficient way to do it in terms of cabling. So on the in, we're going to do gas sensor. We're going to do ratio carbon dioxide. Turn it on. Here we're going to do the logic reader. That's the only thing again. Output will be the LED carbon, and we're going to do setting. Turn it on, and you have that. Let's compare again. And you see, where is it? Here. So we have 18.8, here we have 19. Nice, they are working. Lovely. Which they of course should. Now, that is easy. The next one we'll do is the same thing. It's the pressure. And we can do that because we want to do some. We can do up there actually. And the reader, the writer. I should not be flying inside because you know I'm polluting everything, which is not good. Never fly inside if you can avoid it because of pollution, you know. There might be ways to save a little bit more cable on this, but it's... come on. It's close to the limit of what you can do. There we are. So that one is done. You listen to that sound, so it's very loud now. So here, again, gas sensor. We want the pressure. And turn it on. On. In is that one is the pressure, the reader. Out will be the LED pressure, and then we have the setting on. Lovely. So you see down here we have 33 kilopascal, so 33.79. This is kilopascal. You could take a bigger display, but I just find like it's fine. You know it's kilopascal unless it's something else. But you can also see when you look at it, it says 33. You could calculate it, but it's fine for me. Now we are at 260 watts, so it's going up pretty rapidly. So now the temperature was the last thing. Again, you don't need it because you have down here. But if you want to get the temperature reading, I did that not long ago, I know, but I'm doing all of them this time because why not? First thing, you're going to do a reader. That will read out the temperature. Then you want a math unit. So math. The temperature is in Kelvin, and I don't personally like Kelvin, so I'm gonna add the different value here so I can convert the Kelvin into Celsius. Then I want a writer, so I can write. I can write the value back to the reader, to the display. So let's put in some cables. So first let's put some cable here. Put some cable here. Here, I'm not doing anything with cables. I'm just wiring everything up. There we are, lovely. Now, next thing, before we can actually do anything here, we want to set this one. If you take the labeler, you can write to it directly. If you want to write 273.15, that is the ratio differences between Celsius and Kelvin. Now, let's take the reader, read from the gas sensor. Output will be temperature, turn them on. You see, now 294. I mean, that's the last number. Up on the math, we want to turn it on, and we should be okay to just choose the reader because we only have one. Yeah, we only have one. Good. Should only have one we can access, and then we want to choose the math over here. And we want to subtract. When you have this many, it's a good thing to also, name them. So temp. We just name this one temp, just so we know that we have the right reader. So let's find it here. Logic temp, and turn it on. 21 degrees. That's also what it says down here. Nice. Then we want to take our writer. The input will be the math unit, output will be the temperature, and the setting will be the value output variable will be setting. Turn them on, and there we have our temperature. So that is actually all the different things you would read in a room. These two not so much, these two definitely. And you end up using 90 watt. Or unless you don't want this. If you just want the how to say it, the carbon oxygen, you use 140. Now, first of all, that's noisy in my head, and I like to have as more an impact on my wall as possible. Of course, all this could go away. All that up there could go away. It could be more or less on one wall.
Hunger caution.
However, we could do with an IC housing. Let me reset everything, and then I can show you what we'll do with an IC housing. Now that everything has been reset, I've even removed all these and named them again, so they are back to 0. Also, the mode is back and everything. You can see I've used 47 cables for this setup. I know it's just normal cables, not that expensive. 18 logic readers and writers, 1 processor, and well, 1 memory, but not, yeah. So it is pretty heavy, I can say. Now, if you want to do a IC chip, not IC house, but IC chip, you would have the decency to turn the correct way. Like so. That's better. Pop him in there. Take some cable. Here, of course, you need to put cable on top and bottom. Like so. Now, I've already made the code. I just want to show you the difference. So let's take the code out and go through it. Where's my tablet? Keep calling it a tablet, even though it's a laptop. So the code is looking like this. So first we do an alias of G0, which is the sensor. We define our displays, so we don't have to mark every single display, so we can actually do multiple displays on the same one. We can we mark our temp register, so it's the same register we're using multiple times. Then we have our hash, so we can define the names here. So if we have, let's say we have 10 displays in the same room, but they're spread out, you can see the pressure, whatever several places, you can use the same one. You could also use that with the other one, but here I just prefer this way. Then we do the mode, so I ensure that the mode on the first two ones, which is the temperature and pressure, is set to 0. It will be by standard, but I just ensure that if I make them to a temperature or pressure, they will be at 0 when this code starts. Afterwards, we'll go down to the loop. That should be a start. So in the loop, we first do a load into our temp variable, which will be the temperature from our sensor. Then we do a sub, so we sub temp from temp with the sub is the subtract. So we minus A and B, so we minus the temp into the temp and put it out on display. So we use the same register several times. It works, it's nice, it's neat. That's better. And then when we have changed the temp value into the correct value, which is Celsius, then we do a set batch name, our display, which is defined here, which is the hash name for our small displays. The register 1, which is the temperature, and the setting, which is where we want to write to, and the temp, which is the value of this temperature. Then when that's done, we reuse the temp to a new load, which is the pressure from the sensor, set it again, and then we reuse it several times. So you see, it's the same thing we're doing all over and over again. So basically, if you do like this, except this top one where you have this part, these are identical, except it's the different ratio, register we write to. So yeah, pretty simple, pretty straightforward. You export that, pop it in there, find your screwdriver, turn him on, turn him off. You find the gas sensor here, and you see already now, these have been set. If we want to try again, let me just do that again for good measures. Pop it out here. Why are you not writing? What? Temp. I wrote temperature. Let me just write temp here. Why are you not writing? So LED temp. LED. What did I write in here? Right. So LED. There we are. Nice. Now these two, I removed them again, and as this one is ready, we should then set them to LED carbon, LED oxygen. Take him out. You see those values looks wrong. You pop them in and you change to percentage. Now that's nice. That's very nice. So you see, this way is simpler. It's overkilling, of course, because you're just doing this bit with an IC housing and IC chip, which is quite expensive to do in the beginning. But it's very small on the wall. You save all this junk, and you're only using 10 watts more. And it's easier to set up, I find. Well, that's not easy to set up, it takes less time to set up. You have the code is ready. I can share this code if you want to. I don't think that's necessary because that is very simple code. But at least that is my ways of doing wall monitoring of the screens. If you turn these two off, it won't go into error. You still get this, and now you're down to 150. So it won't look at if you're not looking at these two screens. It doesn't care because it's right into a batch. It's just right into whatever has that name. Anyway, that's all for this time. And until next time, have a great day. Take care. Bye for now.